We all know that learning to talk is a vital communication skill in life, as is listening and being able to process what is being said to us. But that being said, Mel, can you tell me how delayed, speech can impact literacy in the future?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways it can, I guess, and there's some really strong research that shows that connection. So we know that kids with more severe speech and language delays are at the most risk, and if they've got both speech and language as opposed to one or the other, that they're increased risk as well. So the main reason behind it is that reading generally is a phonological process. So it's about that analysis of sounds in words and being able to blend sounds together. So to be able to go cat and push that together to make cat is about phonology. And the way that we process sounds for speech is the same system. So the system kids are using in their speech is the same system that they need to do their reading and writing with. So if it's weaker in terms of their sound production, so obviously if they've got speech sound errors, they've got a problem with that processing of that phonology, and that comes through in the literacy stuff as well. So speeches look a lot at that whole sounds in words concepts and how they manage to deal with sounds in words in terms of being able to break up sounds, so for spelling, or to push sounds together for reading. The other sort of side of the coin, I guess, is that sometimes you have kids who are pretty accurate readers, but it's their poor comprehension of language that might come through in terms of that having difficulty understanding what they're reading, or being able to listen well in the classroom, and sort of that learning in general is then sort of down because they're not comprehending the way they should be.
So interesting. So what can parents do then to help their child develop their literacy skills?
Yeah, so there is heaps that parents can do, especially before they hit school. So number one is to talk to their kids as much as they possibly can. So there's research that shows that the more words a child hears in those first 3 years, the better their vocabs are, and there's a direct link to being better readers. So that's number one, is talk to your kids as much as you can.
Let them chew your ear off. Sounds great.
And then there's the sort of more specific things that you can be doing, particularly I guess in that kinder year before they hit school. So if kids can walk into school knowing how to rhyme and have a lot of exposure to books with rhyme, Dr. Seuss books are amazing.
Yes. The cat in the hat.
And being able to play around with sounds. So, oh look, mummy's name starts with a sound. I wonder who else's name starts with Your name starts with too. Yeah. So that being able to sort of make connections between sounds in words. So, and just getting familiar with the letters of the alphabet, and particularly the sounds letters make. So I'm less worried about that they know that that's a C, but do they know it makes a K sound?
Yep.
Because it's those sounds that they then use as building blocks to push those words together.
Wow. So how can Coastal Kids Speech Pathology help then if your child isn't reaching those milestones? Yeah, so
obviously if there's issues with speech and language skills, we address those. Usually what we do in that kinder year is, while working on the speech and language goals, I guess I'm always constantly in the back of my head knowing that this kid's at more increased risk of literacy. So we're starting to build some of those activities around that blending sounds and stuff in that year before they hit school. So the idea is to actually cut off any difficulties at school before they even happen. And there's some really nice research that shows that works, which is great. I guess alternatively, we tend to get a lot of kids, grade 1, grade 2 that have already started to struggle and are already failing or not meeting the benchmarks that they should be. And so then it's looking at what skills do they have around that phonemic awareness, so that awareness of sounds and words. Where are they up to along that hierarchy of development? And then helping show those kids how those sounds actually work together to be able to break up those words that they've never been able to do before.
Because it's like them reading another language. Like sometimes they just don't understand, and that's, that's the hard thing. And mother's intuition, we often ignore it, I think, and leave it that little bit longer than it could be.
And look, I think part of the problem is that parents are aware that the kids are struggling with their reading, but sometimes the teacher might go, let's just give them a bit longer, and I kind of feel like when I'm seeing them at the end of grade 2 that we've missed this wonderful opportunity, and we're kind of almost then playing catch up rather than trying to pick up those kids in prep when they're not meeting the benchmark, because then you don't have that negative sort of experience around school and around reading that is hard to work through sometimes as well.
So there you have it. If you've got a bit of intuition that something's not quite right, learning to talk, spell and read is all part of our childhood, and struggles are normal, but it shouldn't be a battle. So if you suspect that your child may need some help developing their language or literacy skills, consult the team at Coastal Kids Speech Pathology today. Mel and the team would love to help you.